This is Jeremy Dunford. He's head of Deaton Gates Primary School. Every day he faces a familiar challenge. Too many tasks and too few hours to complete them. These are school governors. New DFES regulations have made governors responsible for improving the work-life balance of head teachers. But can it be done? We filmed a typical day for Jeremy and asked 4 governors from local primary schools to come up with ideas for transforming Jeremy's work-life balance. Meet the panel. Penny Marrington, 2 years a governor. Andrew Doherty, 4 years experience. Juliet Clark, a chair of governors with 7 years experience. And Nikki Buxton, a new parent governor with only 3 months experience. That's the panel, but after watching Jeremy in action, can they help? It's 7:45 at Deaton Gates Primary School in Wetherby, West Yorkshire, and head teacher Jeremy Dunford's day begins. After 3 years as head in his last school, Jeremy has now been here for 9 months. Deaton Gates has 370 pupils. It's predominantly monocultural, with 10% special needs. Jeremy is supported by 15 teachers, some part-time, and has a number of non-teaching staff, including a school bursar. So if he's feeling the pressure, surely everybody must be.
There's a quiet bit at the start of the day when the staff aren't here yet and the children haven't arrived, and I can get some bits done without any interruption. You're meant to be the premises manager, the finance manager, and managing the curriculum at the same time. And there's less time for managing the curriculum.
I think the work-life balance of primary heads is definitely out of kilter. It's a very, very demanding job, and it requires an awful lot of your time.
So how can governors help restore the balance?
Most governors don't see day-to-day life in school at all. You have the odd governor who has more of an involvement, and they've probably got a better idea, but the majority of governors don't see that. And so I have no idea at all. Individual governors can be an asset. I think as a whole organisation, they actually create work for me. They're there to sort of, so give strategic direction to the school, but I have to inform and lead them in that role.
I took issue with his point about that the governing body is there, but he has to inform and lead.
Yes.
I struggled a bit. Inform, exactly my point. I've got inform, but a big query over lead.
I think as governors we need to be acutely aware of the work-life balance for our head teachers.
Absolutely.
That the kids are key resources, the teachers are the assistants, they're all key resources. You don't want anybody to burn out and to fail or to be under too much pressure to then go on sick with stress. So it's in our interest to make sure they have got the correct work-life balance.
Yeah.
What have we got on today then?
Yeah, information.
If I put it through to midnight,
Jeremy must organise teaching cover with his deputy, Margaret. If they can avoid using teacher supply agencies, it'll save money.
So I think we've covered the actual supply next week.
It's obvious that he likes to start work early in the morning for his own reasons, yes, he likes that, but does he then sort of require the deputy head to be there earlier than she need be so that he can have the briefing with her? I wondered if the whole day was loaded into what really is out of work time.
Good morning, Sam. Can we pick the ball up, boys, to take inside? Good morning.
What he is good at is relating to the children, the way he walks around the playground. Although I don't think he needs to be there first thing in the morning. He should delegate it to some of his staff. They should take it in turns.
Whose bag? I'm out there because we have a legal responsibility for the playground. We're responsible for the children out there. And I don't think it's reasonable to ask the staff who are getting in and getting the children in early to then supervise the playground before the school day as well. So I do it. Also, I know we're doing the sort of day-to-day stuff, and we'll talk about the bigger financial issue this afternoon.
Because it's the first week of term, Jeremy needs to check with his bursar Julie that the school is on target financially.
It's monitoring the finances of the school and ensuring that there's no change in our monthly pattern that's going to cause a problem by the end of the year.
That's consistent with
It's about 68 at the moment, or 64.
Yeah, about 60.
The business side of the school takes up most of my time in terms of the finances and the management of the premises. It's like a small business. So I do spend a lot of time with Julie looking at the finances. I spend a lot of time with officers looking at issues to do with the premises, generating more income and making sure we're trying to keep our head above water.
Excellence in city staffing. We know why that is, because we've got two.
And in my meeting yesterday, we're almost certainly going to lose that.
I would agree with him that there are increasing pressures with various funding streams being withdrawn and added. I would definitely agree with him on that point.
If we move on to premises costs, if we look at building repairs and maintenance, budget 6,000, current actual 4,000, 4.5 virtually, isn't it? But we look almost certainly to be going to overspend on that, probably.
Individual governors are useful in financial planning. If they come with, particularly with a knowledge of industry or business outside of education, they give a very different perspective. The governing body as the whole doesn't really have a role to play in terms of the budgeting, and I don't really can't because their background and experience isn't there.
I don't have a problem with him being responsible for the day-to-day running of it, and I think the governing body is about sanctioning and authorising that. But you can only do that if you're informed and understand and therefore can give agreement and support for, and query where you feel that it's perhaps inappropriate.
At break time, Jeremy has to set up the tuck shop. He's covering for a member of staff who has left.
I'm sure he's very efficient at what he does, but is he being effective?
Absolutely.
He doesn't need to do any of that.
I mean, get year 6 kids to supervise the tuck shop.
Yeah,
Get
I've got that.
assistants
And link in with the secretary. They can stock up the trolley and take it back to the secretary and put it back in the cupboard.
Yeah, I've had a message that there's a child in reception who's throwing some water at the teacher, so I'm going to have a look now and see what's happened. Okay. Remember last time when we walked holding hands? I'll just go to the table over there. Do you think we can do that?
No.
Well, I'm going to hold your hand and let's see if you can walk with me, and then we'll go and sit down.
No.
Okay? Good boy, well done. Well done. Let's come and sit over here. Should we get you a chair? Now, what happened? You angry about something? No, that's not going to help, is it?
I hate school.
Now, what were you doing this morning in class?
Nothing.
Nothing. You must have been doing something. Have you been playing with anything? Come and look at me, because I can't see what you're thinking.
For me, that was the key thing of what he as a head can do, because the skills and expertise involved in managing behaviour, which can be very disruptive, and if you can nip it in the bud like he's done and give examples of how it can be done well, I think that's where his skill base is.
Well, the only option is in there or in my office in the end of the day. And you don't really like spending time in my office. There's nothing to do there. You think all the things they're doing. Let's have a look and see what they're doing in there. Come with me.
Jeremy has set himself a demanding target, monitoring each member of staff once a term.
It was Saturday morning and Jack was late for his paper and he gulped down his breakfast. And we see one there?
Gulped.
Anybody tell me what gulped means? Tell me what gulped means.
But because of other school pressures, Jeremy has fallen well behind in his own monitoring schedule.
In terms of monitoring, I'm 50% behind on my schedule. I tried to see everybody last term. In terms of an individual lesson, I failed. I got halfway around the staff.
For me, that's the crucial part of his expertise, is actually the monitoring, whether he does it himself or has a robust system to do it. That's what he can give that nobody else can give.
11:30 in Jeremy's day. School council.
Cycling to school. Any ideas? Anything? We could have a bike rack so people could train their bikes up. I was thinking that they should pass a test so if someone falls off the bike, they know how to help them and how to use it properly.
I think that's a really important idea, that people do need to know how to use their bike properly. If they're going to bring them to school, they do know what to do with them. And I think I'd support you with that.
There were lots and lots of positive things from there. It was
Oh, yeah,
brilliant.
that was great.
The school council, all excellent initiatives.
Is that for me? No? Can I have your ice cream? I could just eat that little bit there, no? I have no objection. You can do a solo sponsored silence. Can you be silent all day?
For 2 days.
For 2 days. Tell it. And if you manage it and you raise some money, then we'll have you up in the assembly. Tell us how much. Okay?
No, Mrs. Johnson is.
No, you're an injury.
Dominique in year 3's really hurt her arm.
Where is she at the moment?
Sat in the thick bit.
Okay, I'll see if I can track her down.
I'm assuming it was the lunchtime supervisor that came to tell him. Why was she coming to him? Why wasn't she finding the head of the lunchtime supervision? So again, it's being pushed back onto him.
That is not the best use of his time.
No.
He needs a lunch break. He needs time out. And if they are lunchtime supervisors, they are lunchtime supervisors and they make that decision.
Yeah.
And actually they could have dealt with that injury and they could have made a decision about, is this a health and safety? Do they just need their arm bandaging up? Do they need an ambulance?
Okay, I'm just getting the prediction forecast up.
Jeremy convenes an emergency finance meeting.
Let's see how bad it's going to be. Okay, clearly we're having this meeting because we've had the forecast, 5-year forecast and the budget, and we've got to start coming up with a plan of how we're going to alleviate that. I think
Since Jeremy joined the school, he's reduced its deficit by £50,000, but now he's been hit with a body blow. New LEA software means finance officers can project deficits accurately over the next 5 years, against the backdrop of a general decline in pupil numbers. Searching for where he can make even more savings will be a painful process.
We face it through necessity. It's something that's going to have to happen based on the finance we've got now. It's not something I'm going to enjoy doing.
The meeting went on to discuss how they might achieve the necessary cuts.
There are always shocks to the system and they always are difficult to deal with. But he can't deal with them by himself. He needs governor buy-in.
You have to keep on top of that to keep the school going, and it is a heavy workload, a lot of worrying.
It's the end of the school day, but Jeremy's taking an extra class.
First things first, I want to remind
This booster class is for borderline 4 and 5 grade children.
good things for level 5 writing. Brains turned on. What we're looking for.
Hyphens, colons and semicolons.
As all governors know, Year 6 SATs are crucial for enhancing the reputation of the school. And marketing the school is vital in a catchment area with declining student numbers. But does Jeremy need to teach the booster class?
There is a lot of credibility in being seen to be able to do the job, and I agree. And I actually think that the booster classes are a straightforward way of him demonstrating that.
I think it may also help his relationship with parents. I mean, parents are quite concerned about tests for children, and knowing that the head is in charge can, I think, help them feel that their head's got a grip on their concerns.
5 o'clock. 3 nights a week, Jeremy takes his unfinished paperwork home. On top of that, he attends all subcommittee meetings involving his governors.
I attend all subcommittee meetings because most of the committees are new. In this sense, we're actually creating their knowledge base and their understanding of their role. So at this point, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to pull away.
He's a brilliant teacher. I think his skills as a teacher, even though he doesn't do it very often, are very clear to me. But he doesn't have to do all those things. And it's just actually convincing him and getting the right structures in place to make sure that he doesn't have to. For me, that's the crucial bit about being a governor, is making it easier for heads and teachers to do their job. That's the crux of what you're doing.
So the governors have viewed the evidence. Now they must present their final proposals to change the head teacher's working life.
Jeremy needs to do less, and in order to do that, he needs to develop other people to do more. These people could be the parents, his staff, or the governing body themselves.
Jeremy needs to make sure he's got a good relationship with parent governors, because they're probably the first part of call where the parents are going to come, so that hopefully they could give help with things like the tuck shop and the bike training, etc.
Jeremy needs to focus in on key admin tasks, appraisals, etc., and delegate the rest where possible.
The governors feel that Jeremy is an excellent teacher who has a great rapport with children and a clear commitment to his teaching staff.